The Bookshelf with me, Ryan Tubridy, is brought to you by Ballymore. Founded by Sean Mulryan in 1982, Ballymore has long put arts and culture at the heart of what it does, from supporting artists and performers to weaving creativity into the neighbourhoods it builds. Alongside this cultural commitment, Ballymore creates places with soul. Its international portfolio is filled with award-winning workspaces, homes, shopping centres and entire neighbourhoods across Dublin, London, Bratislava, Prague and Berlin. Places where design, innovation and creativity come together and where people can live, work and play. Today on The Bookshelf, we are joined by an extraordinary person, an aeronautical engineer, a STEM advocate and future astronaut. I'll say it again, future astronaut, set to become the first Irish person in space. That is very exciting. From her hometown of Ballymore to a suborbital mission with Virgin Galactic, Norah Patten's journey has been driven by curiosity and courage and a passion for science. Along the way, books have offered inspiration and, like for so many, escape and indeed a sense of perspective. What a pleasure to welcome Dr. Norah Patten to the Bookshelf. Welcome, Norah.
Oh, it's so nice to be here. How are you?
And thanks for coming in to see us. We've a little form, don't we? We've met a few times and interviewed a few times.
We have. I think 2018 was probably the first time. So it's hard to believe.
Was that in Ballymore?
In Ballymore.
In the chip van?
In the
Which, to explain, that was the mobile broadcasting unit that we affectionately called the chip van.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's that many years ago now.
And that's your hometown?
Hometown, Ballymore. Grew up in the west of Ireland.
Yeah.
Still have all my family. Most of my family are still living there. So get to go home a few times in the year. Visit, go to Inniscrone.
Yeah, and visit.
Woods, the whole
okay,
lot.
it's a beautiful part of the world.
It's fab. It's actually really lovely, yeah.
Yeah. And in Ballymore, were you living in the town or were you in the countryside?
Down the Quay area, so more on the road to Inniscrone, on the coast road.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a lovely area to grow up.
And take us through the keyhole, as it were, to you as a child, as a young girl. Who's in the house and who's doing what, and what class of house was it?
It was busy. I'm the youngest of five.
Yeah,
so,
proper.
Busy, yeah. And there's only 9 years between all the kids, so the oldest to me. Which is kind of a lot of kids packed into...
Oh, we immediately think of your mother.
It's
and her strength.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And so, yeah, it was busy. It was a busy house and, a lot going on. And we were all doing different sports and after school things and, a lot of play outside. And I did gymnastics for many years and... it was just busy.
Busy and lots going on. And mum and dad, what were they doing for a living, or were they working or not working? Or
yeah, so my dad worked in insurance all of his life, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom until I was coming towards the end of primary school. So she then started getting involved in upskilling courses, things like that. Yeah, she's amazing.
So she's really
driven.
She didn't want to be to have nowhere to go after the kids and so on. So her brain, that's a really interesting insight, because her brain clearly was going, yes, I want to be a mother. Yes, I want 5 children. Yes, I want a life after all of that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And she said there was one kind of pivotal day. She said she looked out the window and saw the two of us, myself and my sister Emma. There's only a year and a half between us. So we would have really grown up together. And then she said she saw me and Emma going off to school one day and the house was quiet. And she was like, I need to do something with my life outside of the house.
Smart.
Yeah.
You know, not too long ago, Michelle Obama was reported as saying that she's getting therapy. And she was saying that part of the reason she really needed it was because she was finding it hard to cope with the empty house. It's because the two girls, Sasha and Malia, they're now beyond college nearly. So it's for your mum to have put that plan in place and looking out the window and seeing the two girls, and in that moment seeing the two women they would become, was very smart thinking and prescient.
For sure. And I think I've definitely looked at my mom in terms of her ambition and her drive, and as somebody who did not have the opportunity to have the education I've been so lucky to have, I think that's why of all the people, my mom would have been the one very focused on helping us to get the education, so that we would have opportunities after school and that.
So she wasn't in a position to have that third level experience. Was that what you're saying?
That was right. Yeah, her mum passed away very young. So my mom was only 11.
Oh, Lord.
Or when her mother passed away.
Your grandmother, obviously, yeah.
So it was obviously then like all hands on deck at in the home and things like that. So I can imagine just a very difficult time, you know, for young kids to lose their mum. And so, yeah, she never had the opportunity to go to university, you know, coming out of school and things like that. So she would have definitely been the one saying, I really want my kids to have an education. She
must have been, I would imagine, sorry for going on about your mum, but I just think she clearly was a pivotal part of this story, of your story, that she was, you know, at 11, that awfulness of losing your mother. But in her was an intelligence, in her was an ambition, in her was a hope for betterment and for something else. And not that it didn't come to pass for her, because clearly she did eventually get there after becoming a mum of 5 children and so forth. But that was a strong, burning flame.
Absolutely. She's a very, I would class her as a very strong person.
Is that right? What's her name?
Bridie.
Bridie, lovely.
Yeah, and very positive. Like, she'll always see the positive.
Why are you laughing at that?
Because it was just some funny stories where, do you know, she'll frame things in the positive and you're like, why? How are you phrasing that in the positive?
Yeah, how can any of what just happened be okay?
So she has a funny way of...
She's chronically positive.
Chronically positive, yeah. But...
that's funny.
Yeah, but I think for me, you know, that must have been important for me to see my mom, when I was in primary school, going off to do her studies in the morning. She'd head off. I remember in primary school going in the car with Dad, sitting in the back of the car before going to primary school and dropping my mom in to do her course. So that I remember. So, you know, I think all of those things in ways kind of add up to your experience. And,
it's all part of the tapestry, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Ultimately, every bit of patchwork. And did she do anything with her qualifications as a matter of interest, or did she just enjoy them?
She did, absolutely. So she later became a swimming coach.
Did she?
And yeah, she's done all her levels, all the way up to coach level in swimming. And she runs her own swim school. And yeah, she has done for years.
What a great finish to that story. Wow.
Yeah, she's great and she loves it. She's very much people focused and loves being around people, and she
found her way.
She did, yeah.
Bridie Patten.
Bridie Patten.
Good on her.
Yeah.
And your dad, what's his name?
Pat.
And was Pat a sort of lower key sort of guy? Was he a bit more shy, maybe introverted?
Bit quieter, yeah. So yeah, Dad. But again, Dad would have been a really steady support for all of us. Like, there's a really hilarious story. When I was in secondary school, there was an astronaut coming to Galway. So it was a Wednesday, or it was a weekday. I remember it being a weekday because I had art class. So I went into my art teacher and said, "Oh, Mr. Breckton, I need to leave early today because there's an astronaut coming to Galway and I'm getting the bus to go to Galway to see the astronaut."
You were how old, remind me?
I was probably 14 at the time. So the deal was one of my friends would come with me. So I wasn't going on my own. But we ended up missing the bus in Galway to come back to Mayo.
Having seen the astronaut, which we'll come back to in a minute. Yes, yeah.
So I had to ring my dad and he drove all the way to Galway to come and collect us, to bring us home. So
that was a hack.
That was a hack. But
that's what dads are kind of...
They do.
For-ish, if they can.
If they can, yeah.
That was a quality dad act.
It was just, that's the kind of thing he'd do for you. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
It's kind of solid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Were there books in the house, or was it an outdoorsy sort of house?
It was more outdoorsy.
Okay.
Yeah, more outdoorsy. So most of us would have been into, myself and my brother Patrick would have been big into sports.
Right.
And then
every sport.
A mix of everything. Swimming, Gaelic.
Yeah.
I did gymnastics. It
was all
a list of things. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about reading then as a kid. Did you have to do it or did you want to do it?
I had to do it. I wasn't a great reader growing up. So it's something I am continuously trying to introduce into my day-to-day and
to your
week to
own
week.
life.
Yeah, exactly, because it is such a lovely escape. But I'd be kind of a slow reader with books. I'd dip in and out.
I'll just meet you halfway and say I've never done gymnastics. Do you know what I mean? So I just think this is a lot of people listening going, I don't really read. I just want to listen to this conversation or what have you. But reading is my thing. Gymnastics and space, neither of them are mine. They're yours. So when people often say, well, I don't read, I'm sorry about it. I say, well, no, it doesn't make it any less or worse. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I totally do. I think, but I do think it's something I like. I want to. I have a 3-year-old, and I love to sit with her and read books because I do think it's such a gift you can give to kids. It's an escapism. It's all of those imaginations and everything.
What do you read to? Because we're going to come on to your own childhood now, but tell me about your daughter's reading habits and what. She's only 3?
3, yeah. 3. She loves books. She's always loved books. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, she'd often like take a book and we'd sit and she has a whole like nearly
shelf.
her own little library of books at home.
What's her eye drawn to, or is there anything particular?
It depends on the week. She'll go through.
Yeah, phases.
Phases, yeah.
And is she in the Gruffalo stage of things, or
loves
all the Julia Donaldsons?
Yes, absolutely.
The Room and the Broom, and
exactly, and the rhymes and stuff like that. I think they really like. Yeah.
And that time with her at night time, if you have time, whatever, it's you've just described it beautifully when you're sitting together. That is one of the most nourishing, beautiful things for both child and, I say parent, I mean reader. It could be an auntie and uncle, whoever's reading with them. It's a very, very special time, almost otherworldly. It
is. It's and it's lovely because it's just the two of you there in that space, and then she's learning her letters now, so she'll go, oh, there's L for Leisha, and she'll point out and she'll notice things in the illustrations, and do you know, it's just lovely. I think it's a really nice thing to do with them.
It's great you're gifting that to her. Like you say, it's a real sweet thing to do. But it's your first book we're going to get to now, Norah Patten, and that is the book from your childhood. Now, you've said not a major reader, generally speaking, or even as a child. That's okay. We've had people who said, I didn't have one, so leave me alone, move on to the next one. And that's, that's the nature of the show. It's very democratic. It's no judgment. It's just curiosity. So where are you going to go for this one?
Dogger.
Shirley Hughes.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
So this one I remember reading and sitting and looking at as a child. Sure. And I think it was the emotions that it evoked.
Yes.
That is why I remember it.
The missing toy?
The missing toy. The little boy, and he has a little toy, and the toy goes missing. And then basically the older sister, they're all out looking for the toy. And then the older sister wins a huge big teddy. Yeah. And she swaps it with there was a little girl then who had gotten the toy by accident or whatever it was. And the sister swaps and gets the little toy back for the boy. She
threw the fight so that her little brother could win.
Yeah. And I just thought... I remember looking at the illustrations as a child, and I remember feeling sad when the boy lost the toy. Yes. And then feeling just so happy when he got it back.
Yeah. So you remember the emotions?
I think I do. Isn't remember the emotions.
That's such a powerful thing to take from what is simply a children's book, so-called.
And I think it's so important, the messages we give to kids, because we pick them up and experience them and feel them in different ways. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Somebody else reading that book as a child mightn't pick up on the emotions. They might pick up on something else. But I remember thinking the sister was so lovely to do that, and how happy the boy was getting his toy back.
Nice. It's a beautiful choice of book for your first book today. And let me ask you about school, broadly speaking. Did you enjoy it? I mean, I know you're hyper academic now, but in school when I'm heading towards now 10, 12, secondary school, for example, did you school a joy or a chore?
Probably a mix.
Really?
Yeah, I think in secondary, like a lot for me was the teacher that I had, could have made it joyous or not joyous. So I think the teachers in secondary school for me, and for a lot of us, are kind of key in our experience.
And choices of subject.
And choices of subject and choices of careers.
Correct, said Johnny History and English to Johnny Science and STEM. So let's talk a bit about that.
Yeah, but I had my English teacher in Leaving Cert was amazing.
Okay.
And I got an A in my Leaving Cert English, which is like, but I boil it down to his good teaching. Because he made me like really enjoy English and writing the essays and learning about the novels and things like that.
What was your Shakespeare play in the Leaving Cert?
What was our Shakespeare?
Was it King Lear, Hamlet, Macbeth?
No.
Romeo and Juliet?
Oh no, it was King Lear.
It was King Lear,
Sorry,
the mad beard and the dad.
Like, oh
do you remember
God.
any of the poets that you learned? I'm going somewhere with this. Did you do Patrick Kavanagh? Did you do Ivan Boland? Seamus
Patrick
Heaney?
Kavanagh, Seamus Heaney. God, it's so long.
So no,
since
just trying to figure out,
with them.
did the seeds sown in the literary pursuits that you had in school follow through to where you are today, or was it just because you had to do that for the exam?
Oh, interesting. Maybe it's because I had to do it for the exam.
It's starting to feel a bit like that, but it doesn't matter. You enjoyed getting there.
I did, yeah.
Who's the teacher?
Mr.
I'm really putting you on the spot now.
Mr. McLaughlin. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, is everyone, the answer to every teacher, Mr. McDonough. Okay. So anyway, you left and you went and studied with your favourite lecturer, Mr. McDonough, who was, no, I'm just making that up. School, back to the Leaving Cert. You did the Leaving Cert, and I'm going to have to come back a few steps because I want to get the sense of when you and the notion of the universe, the notion of stars, the notion of astronautical activity, when did that come into? Was it a moment or a process?
It was a bit of both. So for me, I got to visit NASA when I was 11.
How did that happen?
Family holiday. So my mom's sister lives in Cleveland and my dad's 3 uncles moved to Cleveland way back when.
All off to Ohio?
All off to Ohio. So I have more family in Cleveland than I do in Ireland.
That's extraordinary.
On my dad's side,
So big family trip to all 5 of you plus the folks?
No, 4 of us.
4.
Plus the folks. And I just think it just goes to show, like we did a whole load of different activities, like baseball games and shopping malls and what have
Americana.
you. Exactly. And I was the only one who took the real interest in space after the trip to NASA. So
bring me to NASA at 11 years old in Cleveland. What are you looking at and what's happening to your brain?
there was a wind tunnel. I remember the wind tunnel.
Really?
And my dad's first cousin, Jack, was the one who organised the trip. And he knew some of the folk in NASA. So he was able to get us in to see the wind tunnel. And they were doing research there at the time, which was we freeze to please. So they were looking at de-icing and anti-icing on wings for aircraft.
Interesting.
So that I still remember. And it was just an eye-opener, you know, because you're growing up in a very different environment in Mayo.
Yeah.
And then you go and experience this whole other world of space and aviation. So that for me, I came back and I was thinking, wow, like that's amazing, like the whole world of space.
Yeah. Now you're 11, so I'm trying to figure out what do you do with all of that, because your brain, while it will be big, it won't be sophisticated enough, I suspect, to roadmap the next 25 years. But yet something was percolating. So what did you do with all this information?
Totally. I think like there was no roadmap. So I think it was the percolation, as you say, is actually a really good way of phrasing it. I got to go back to Cleveland again when I was 13.
Right, just 2 years.
Or 14, I think it was, maybe 14.
Yeah.
And again on that trip, my aunt brought me back to visit the NASA Centre. So that was keeping the interest.
Did you ask to go, or were you told?
I would have asked to go.
Okay, so you wanted to go back. There was something still bubbling away.
Something still bubbling. And I had saved my pocket money and my babysitting money on that trip. And I bought a telescope. That was my first telescope over in America. And hilariously, like I left half of my clothes in Cleveland to pack the telescope and bring it back to Mayo.
So now the passion is starting to build the telescope at the expense of clothes. We're now
Yes.
getting a sense of where this is all going to work out in some ways. And as you were going through school, you mentioned you got your A in English, which is the highest mark you can get at that level in school. But were you being drawn towards the sciences more? Was space starting to become more part of your life as you were heading 15, 16, 17? Or did you park it to be a teenager?
No, I definitely didn't park it. No, definitely not. Like when I was 15, I got to go to Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And so I say it's a bit of both a moment and a process, because it was when I stood under the Saturn V rocket in the visitor complex in Kennedy Space Center. They have it on the roof of the visitor complex. It's the stacked rocket that went to the moon. And I remember as a 15-year-old walking under that thinking the feat of creativity, of engineering, of collaboration, that had to go in to build this, to send humans to the moon. I just thought that was it. Like I was like, space was 100% what I wanted to do.
15. Was that another family holiday, or did you win it?
That was another family holiday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, the nurturing of those holidays, in the sense that you were going over, and they were very profound in what they were doing to your head and your heart, in a sense.
Yeah, and I think, but again, I was asking. We flew in and out of Orlando, and we drove to Cleveland on that trip. But I remember when we were coming back to fly out of Orlando, I had said to my parents, I said, I want to go to NASA before we go home, and if you don't bring me, I'm going to get the bus.
Here we go. Your dad going, I'm going to have to collect her again, haven't I? So you put a gun to the head.
Pat, if you don't bring her, she will get the bus. Yeah. So you better bring her.
So here he comes again.
Here he comes again
with the car keys.
This is what I mean. So it's like, and so my brother Patrick and myself went with Dad, and then the ladies went off shopping. So
were you not a lady?
Oh, but I was more interested in rockets. So
we'll go back to you standing out underneath the
Saturn V.
And it feels epiphanous. That feels, this is my path now. And you went home with that experience under your belt, so to speak. Did you feel I need more of this in my life, more space?
Oh, definitely. And it just was difficult because there was very little, if any, really, that you could get involved in Ireland at the time. So I just tried to get whatever books I could get, or like I remember Dad bought me a book when we were in Kennedy Space Center, so I had that, and I was trying to add to my, library and portfolio of things I had. But it was, I suppose there just wasn't really a lot of activity at the time here.
Well, I can't think of the 5 reasons why Ireland and space would be, put together in the same sentence, bar the fact that the third man who didn't actually get out of the thing to get on the moon was named Michael Collins. That's about as close as we got, I think. But other than that, I'm sure you can tell me that we have lots of connections to space exploration.
Do. We absolutely do. Even in the observatories all around Ireland, like there's a really rich heritage in astronomy. Like look at Burcastle, largest telescope in the world for 70 years, built in the 1800s. So there's definitely
there's a heritage there.
There's a heritage there, yeah. One that I've become much more familiar with in more recent decades.
And you're talking about stargazing as opposed to space travel in that regard. About the Irish heritage because of the nature of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But equally there was involvement in some of the space shuttle missions and things like that as well.
Okay.
From years ago.
The telescope you bought home with you at the expense of some of the clothes, did you use it? I mean, did it get great wear out?
We did. I mean, you couldn't see a whole lot from the back garden, but it was still the novelty of setting it up. And like for Christmas, I would have gotten a book on the constellations.
Yeah.
So what to look out for and what
Beautiful.
they look like.
I think it's really sweet, and it's the ceremony of it and the symbolism of the telescope, I think, as much as anything else.
I think I still have it.
You should keep it. It's really
I
important.
still have it, yeah.
So let's, while we're here, go to the second book today, Norah, which is the book that brought you or brings you joy. Where did you go for that choice?
So for this one, I suppose it's probably not your traditional joyous book, but Endurance.
Yeah.
By
Shackleton.
Yes.
By the author, is it?
Alfred Lansing.
Yeah.
I just couldn't put this book down.
Tell everyone about it.
This is Shackleton's incredible voyage. It's about their expedition. This book is just, I just couldn't put it down. It's about these early expeditions to the South Pole, and this one was just particularly one I couldn't put down because they get so close, but they run into every single obstacle and hurdle and have to fight for survival.
Yeah, they should all have been dead.
They should all have been dead. And I think it was that last chapter in it, or one of the last chapters in it, where they're it's so well written and articulated. It just brings you there, and you can visualize like the hardship and the pain and just what they had to endure.
Yes.
But when they're coming up on the whaling station after just overcoming this ridiculous journey to get there, and that was probably just the one moment that I felt the joy that they managed to get to where they needed to be, and then they managed to save the crew. The crew.
They had to peel off a bunch of the lads to try and get help. That journey in itself is out of this world. Then they had to go back to collect the other heads who had to survive in on a bit of freezing.
Pebble Beach, yeah.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. I mean, it's an extraordinary story. The fact the ship was called the Endurance, and has huge associations with Ireland because Shackleton was born in Kildare.
Absolutely.
Tom Crean is a Kenmare man.
Tom Crean, yeah.
As you know. And there's a beautiful museum in Athy celebrating Shackleton. So it's all there. Reading about the age of exploration in the 19th century and even the 18th century, the nautical search for new lands. I read somewhere it said about James Cook, and they said surely the Gene Roddenberry, when he created Star Trek, was thinking about James Cook when he put a captain on a ship to go to lands that no one has been to before, and the captain of the ship was James Kirk. So not a million miles off. But the space exploration, we know it in something like Star Trek, it's just fantasy in the sky, but based on what was happening on the sea. So I can see why you picked this book. It makes huge sense.
Yeah, and I haven't read it in about 10 years, but it still lasts. It has those lasting memories in my mind, like of reading the words and the visual image it gives you in your brain, and just it's just was mental what they had to survive.
And when you think of the Shackleton experience and that age of exploration, do you think about then casting your eyes not on the sea or the water, but to the stars, and do you see a parallel? Or
I 100% see parallels in terms of like it's a voyage, it's exploration. They set out to achieve what they wanted to achieve. They didn't achieve it. Shackleton came back multiple times, tried and tried again. Yeah. So there's that kind of perseverance element to it as well. The risk, the unknowns, taking all the lessons learned from the previous voyages to try and make the next one work. Yeah. So I think there's definitely...
I can hear the parallels as you're speaking.
Yeah.
Tell us about, you did your Leaving Cert. You obviously did well in the Leaving Cert. What did you want to do in college?
Aeronautical engineering. In? The University of Limerick.
In Limerick. And you got there?
I got there. I think I had 3 things on my CAO, and it was aero and then mechanical. And then there was another course I had put on that I could transfer into aeronautical in 2 years. So that was the only...
That was your fallback.
Focus, that I had.
Why did you want to get into aeronautical?
A couple of different reasons. So I had written a letter to NASA when I was in secondary school and said, how can I work for you guys or have a career in space? And they sent me back a leaflet on all of the different careers that NASA would typically hire. So I was reading that, and then I was reading a lot of the biographies and profiles of some of the astronauts.
Right.
And a lot of them would have studied aeronautical, astronautical engineering. I did look at going abroad to do astronautical, but I had written to Limerick as well and asked them to send me out like information about the course. So I just did my homework in terms of courses, and I just, really liked the look of the aeronautical based on the research I had done.
You said that this looks good to me. You wrote the letter. How old were you when you wrote to NASA?
I was probably 16,
right.
I'd say.
That's quite a sign of your intent to write to NASA saying,
how can I come and work for you?
Yeah. I mean, that does suggest you might have a real and sincere interest in this as a career.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was, again, it's that roadmap, but it's about creating your own when there isn't one existing.
Yeah. So there you get to college. Did you enjoy life in Limerick in university?
Loved college. I think that's where I really excelled.
Okay.
So school was kind of means to an end in some ways. But then when I got to university, it was what I wanted to be doing. It was the areas I loved to learn more about. So that's really when I excelled academically, I would say.
And was there a point along the way, have we got to this point, I wonder, where you wanted to be an astronaut? You wanted to be up there exploring. Did that come later, or was that there as a teenager?
It's hard to say. I don't know when exactly I would have said I want to go to space. I suppose probably because it was absolutely impossible when I was in secondary school. There was no way at that stage. So it's hard to say actually when exactly, but space was always the main thread. To
be up there, or to study it, or to work on it.
To be working in it, to be learning about it, to be have part of my career and life in that sector. Right.
But then something happened where you said, no, I want to get in the gear and I want to get up there. You know, where you got to be hungry for that.
That's true, yeah.
So when did you decide you want to order that meal?
It's hard to say. I studied at the International Space University in 2010.
Where was that?
In Strasbourg, in France.
Okay.
And that was a really good opportunity to meet and talk with astronauts, to learn about, their own career paths, what they had done.
Yes.
So possibly it was from that involvement that I began to think, maybe there might be some way or some day I might have that opportunity.
Let me ask a negative. What was stopping you from that dream?
What was stopping me? Probably just the reality of where, what was there was no way. There was just no way at the time.
There was no framework for this.
I just rewind back to 2010. Commercial flights weren't a thing. European astronauts were a minimum.
And then something changed.
And
was it one thing or multiples?
Multiples, I would say.
Yeah. What were the most important things in your life that changed?
100% the commercial activity. So I've seen that not just from a space flight perspective, but also on multiple other levels, even having a space career in Ireland now is possible, largely because of the commercial activity.
So commercial activity, put that into layman's language
companies,
for me. So it's like Virgin going into Jeff Bezos, is that what that means? Is it like Elon Musk?
SpaceX, all of those, satellite companies, all of those kinds of commercial activities.
And they're sending people up for work, or
I suppose not just sending people, but the satellite industry is a huge commercial industry.
Yeah.
So it just, all of those things feed into more opportunities for Irish companies to be working in the space sector.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
And working in space?
And working in space.
As a direct result.
Yeah.
in a way. So let me ask you then. You're in Strasbourg. You're saying at this stage, and you're enjoying that again. And I think the whole idea of getting into a what do you call it, a shuttle?
Yeah, the rocket.
Rocket.
Yeah.
I just thought rocket sounded so bonkers. I was trying to be more, scientific. It's actually a rocket.
Or Yar launcher.
That's making it worse. But yeah. So there came a point that you said, right, I'm going to be that now, and I want to do that.
Yeah.
And in my cursory knowledge of what astronauts do, it's a mixture of brains and physical ability. Like it seems to be like you've got to be both strong mentally and physically. Yeah.
So absolutely, like the career astronauts are the astronauts who are selected by the European Space Agency, Canadian Space Agency, NASA, that kind of thing. And that's a different route than the route I am going is commercial suborbital space flight. It's through a research institute that I've been working with for almost a decade now. So there's different paths, and we'll fly as researchers on our flight. There's also the space tourism aspect. So there's kind of now, I think the last 5 years in particular, in terms of human access to space, has just been like so brilliant for me to see, because I've been part of this sector for so long and waiting for these opportunities. I sat in a panel probably in 2017 and said, I want to fly to space as a researcher on a suborbital, but there was no existing suborbital flights even at that time. So it's been really really wonderful for me to see people in my network, colleagues, friends of mine, have an opportunity to fly to space.
Yeah, wow. And it's all that, like, the doors are blowing off it now.
Absolutely.
And there you go.
Absolutely.
So you are going you're arguably, or you are, as a matter of fact, going to be the first Irish woman in space.
Irish person. Yeah.
Irish person, excuse me.
So we've never had an Irish astronaut. And yeah, I think people, like, the spaceflight was announced last June 2024, and I think people have really resonated with it because they know how many years I am paving this path. It hasn't just happened overnight. And it just offers a massive opportunity to engage with people all over Ireland, to showcase opportunities for commercial companies to get involved. And yeah, really just it's going to be, I just think it's going to be unbelievable. Like,
I mean, what do you know? What your tasks will be, or do you know how long you'll be up there for? Or
yeah, so in terms of the duration, Virgin Galactic have a mothership, and then they have the spacecraft, and the mothership takes the spacecraft up to about 45,000 feet. The spacecraft drops, ignites its engine for about 1 minute, and then you're in space. And then you come back and you land on the same runway you've taken off from. So the total flight is less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the tasks, we had an open call for science for our mission, and we got some unbelievably, like, amazing applications for that. So we're, like, really excited about what kind of research.
It just sounds what you're doing is important, and the research sounds exciting. I mean, not just because I don't understand it doesn't mean I don't appreciate the importance of it. So it sounds like you're excited about it all.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So, like, I'll be flying with Kelly Girardi, who's an American, and she flew with Virgin Galactic in 2023. She brought 3 payloads, 3 experiments with her, and our other colleague, Dr. Shauna Pandia, is a medical physician with a very big interest in female health. So the 3 of us will fly together. We will be loading up with wearables, sensors, like rack payloads, hopefully, a handheld.
What's a payload?
An experiment, sorry.
Experiment.
Yeah.
So you could be doing all this stuff in when you're up among the stars.
Exactly, yeah, and testing it in microgravity. So that's the weightlessness. So we do the National Research Council microgravity research campaign. So that's where you get 20 seconds of weightlessness to test your experiments and try it out in that environment and modify it, iterate it.
Yeah.
So that when you get to suborbital, you have consecutive minutes of microgravity. So for us, it's a huge step from microgravity.
A giant step, maybe.
in terms of what you can get. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing that we've gone from that 11-year-old in Cleveland in that just random visit to a space center to you discussing the fact that in 2026
it could be as early as next year. Yeah.
You'll be there.
Yeah.
Astronaut, first Irish astronaut in the history of time.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
Just I sometimes don't take it on. Like, as in it's such an honour. It's I don't want to get overloaded with the
implications
responsibility.
of it. The responsibility of it.
Yeah, but
it's funny.
We have such an enormous opportunity here.
Yeah, you want to focus.
I want to focus.
Lock it in, as the young people say. Lock it in and do it properly.
Exactly.
Okay, let me ask you about your final book today, Norah, which is the book that changed your life.
Yeah, so I don't mean to be vain on picking this one.
Or as we like to say, notions in this country. But you're not the first person to pick such a book along these lines. So who's the author of this book?
The author is me.
There you go. Cecilia Hearn did the same thing, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was life-changing.
Like, as I say, I'm not a huge reader, and the books I've dipped in and out of over the years, when I got that thought of, okay, what was the book that changed my life? I had to go with Shooting for the Stars.
Yeah.
This has just been such a positive thing for me to do. To put in 40 pages, a kid's illustrated book.
Yeah, beautiful book, by the way.
Thanks a million.
Yeah,
no,
really
it's
beautiful.
it gave me just such an amazing platform to reach many, many kids and adults and parents too. To do the book signings. It's just been so positive, actually. And to have author on your bio it's a really
award-winning
special thing.
author. I'm going to throw that in. Didn't you win an Irish Book Award?
I did.
You did.
The book did, yeah, which is just, I just think so lovely.
The communication thing seems really important to you. The communication of the ideas and the achievement and the endeavour.
Yeah, it's somebody said that to me a few years ago. Why am I so engaged with, outreach initiatives and STEM and really just engaging people? But it's hard to say why. I think is it because I realise how lucky I was to go to NASA as a kid, and I know that not all kids are going to get that opportunity. So I've tried to bring things back to Ireland, run the STEM outreach education here, so that they can have access. And
I love that. Where you couldn't,
where
once upon
I couldn't,
a time. Yeah.
And I just think what an amazing platform I have. Being in this position to fly to space, why not bring as many people as we can on the journey?
Before you head for the stars, do you worry about safety? Because I know you're a mum now. You mentioned your daughter and you're married and all the rest of it. Do you have any concerns about that, or is that just bringing a complete unpleasant,
No, I wouldn't say it brings unpleasant. I mean, like, it's human space flight, of course there's risks associated with everything we do, I suppose, in life. But no, I've been to Spaceport America in New Mexico. Was there last June for the final commercial flight of Unity. That was Virgin Galactic's first spacecraft. Got to meet the teams, got to see the setup, and I can tell you I came away thinking I can't wait to launch to space from here.
You're saying you've been more nervous getting on a bike after this conversation than you'll be getting into this rocket?
In Dublin?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Had to be geographically specific. The final question of the final question is about your autobiography and the book that you haven't written yet. Obviously, you've written the children's book, but it's a book that sums up your life thus far as a book title. Where are you going for that? Yeah,
it's so funny because I even though I'm very much become more in the public eye, I have no interest in writing an autobiography.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I don't know. I don't think it's for me at the moment anyway. But I thought on a career autobiography, I'd probably call it Achieving the Impossible Dream, because that is absolutely how I see the opportunity of flying to space. And I know there's so many little eyes watching.
Yeah.
And big eyes.
And big eyes. There'll be loads of eyes.
Loads of eyes. But I think that's what I'd call it, because I think of little Norah growing up in Mayo and just how impossible this seemed to be sitting here talking to you about having a research space flight on the horizon.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I think your story is just brilliant, and it's fun, and it's remarkable, and I'm just proud, if I can be, of such as a fellow Irish person, and I'm excited for you, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side of that trip, to see, does it change you or what it does to you or what have you. But in the meantime, safe travel.
Thank you so much.
This episode is brought to you by Ballymore, a company that creates places with soul, putting arts and culture at the heart of its work, alongside creating award-winning workspaces, homes and neighbourhoods across the UK, Ireland and wider Europe. To find out more about the places Ballymore is shaping, where people can live, work and play, visit ballymoregroup.com.